Women educators are natural givers, pouring into their students, their families, and communities. But what about pouring into you? This is the Educator Sanctuary, where we help you ditch the guilt and unapologetically put yourself at the top of your list. I'm Dr. Lea, educator, mindset coach, and your guide to creating a life where you align with your purpose and reclaim your power. So if you're ready to set boundaries and step fully into the woman you're meant to be, you're definitely in the right place. Let's get into it.
Hey, and welcome back to the Educator Sanctuary, where we have big conversations, mindset shifts, personal growth, and all the things that help you live more intentionally. Today, I want to begin by asking you a question, and that is, what if this back to school season wasn't just about your kids, but also about you? Guys, it is literally that time of year again. New backpacks, new schedules, early mornings, school lunches, dreadful homework. And if you are a mom, well, all the hats you wear suddenly feel heavier and do. Life is just speeding up day by day, and it's so easy to get caught up in the chaos. Ask me how I know. But today I want to hopefully slow you down for a minute and talk about you. Because the truth is, if you did not pour into yourself first, and if you do not find a way to start and thrive amidst the chaos, this season that lasts for 10 months will drain you instead of energize you. If currently, with all the back to school tasks and activities that have been going on, you are feeling overwhelmed or stretched thin, or like you have already gotten behind before the school year even begins, I want you to know you're not alone. You are very much seen. And I want to remind you that you're always doing more than enough. As women, I know that we are pretty hard on ourselves. I know for a fact that I am. And I have spoken to many women, and so many moms have pretty much echoed the same thing, not only just this year, but every year, that the summer is really exhausting. People cannot wait for their kids to go back to school. Why? Because you're sitting around in the summer and you're trying to figure out how to entertain them all day. They're eating all day. They want to run in and out all day. You're trying to take them on trips and pretty much just give them a full life in the few months that you have them before they have to go back to school. A lot of times that is even more exhausting, and you feel like you're just running on empty. And I get it. There is so much pressure to make the summers worth it. And then when school starts back, even more pressure to make the mornings perfect, to be the super mom, to keep everyone's plates full, to get them out of the door on time. But what if this year you decided to make a different choice? What if instead of surviving this whole back to school rush, you started thriving in it? I'm going to tell you about a friend of mine that I've been talking to, and I'm just going to call her Rachel. Rachel is a mom of two, and every fall she used to dread the start of school. She said she would spend hours prepping lunches, organizing their supplies, mapping out their schedules, mapping out the extracurricular activities, ironing their clothes, and by the time the kids got on the bus in the morning, she was already wiped out. She felt like her day would be a blur of chores and checking off things on her to-do list, and by the evening, not only was she exhausted, but she was also frustrated. Frustrated because even when the kids were gone to school, she still felt like she never got enough of what she wanted done. She was never able to put her dreams and goals in motion because the kids kept her so busy that she was tired. And then she would try to catch up on chores. And by the time she caught up on chores, it was time for them to get back off of the bus. And now she has to help with homework and get dinner started. And pretty much it's just a looping cycle of everything all over again. This year, She said she had been listening to this podcast. She has been taking notes. She has been doing the reflections, and something clicked. She said that she realized that she was putting everyone else's needs before her own, but it was listening to this show that made her not accept it as guilt. So before, she was feeling guilty about putting her kids on the back burner and putting herself first. But now she is saying, no, I realize that I don't have to choose between someone else and me. I can actually put my needs before everyone else's. She was dragging through her days. She felt like her life was fading away. But she made a small change. She started a morning ritual. And I know I talked about this before. I just don't remember the episode. But she started doing the morning ritual. So now she gets up 30 minutes before her kids. And in that time, she sits quietly with her coffee. She journals her thoughts. She said she sets her intentions. And of course, that includes her daily prayer in the morning. And that 30 minutes this year, this summer, pretty much became the anchor. And now, even though school is starting back this week, if it hasn't already started back in your neighborhood, things are picking up for her because she knows that she has the time. She said that this school year, she's even thinking about putting her kids to bed a little bit earlier so that she can also add 30 minutes in the evening. So they'll have a wind down time, and she will be able to also have her wind down time with her journaling that she said that she likes to do, and then a glass of hot tea for bed. And she said it's the first time that she feels like that she's not bracing for the chaos. She's pretty much ready. Like, she's not, just showing up for her kids now. She's also showing up for herself. And I'm just going to say that warmed my heart so much, because I always feel like, I don't know who's listening to this podcast, but I always say, if I could just touch one person, then me getting up to record this podcast has done its job. But of course, I always hope that I have made a bigger impact, and that this is another story that will help change your life if you have been on the verge of a breakdown, that this podcast and stories like Rachel's become your breakthrough. What I love about Rachel's story is that it really shows how small intentional moments can make a massive difference. She's only giving herself that 30 minutes in the morning because she knows the rest of her day, pretty much the kids run it. But she chose herself first. So now, rather than feeling frustrated that she did everything for everyone else and she didn't get to choose her, she's choosing her first. And so if she doesn't have time to do anything else, she's already gotten her time in. It really just goes to show that it doesn't have to be a big overhaul. It's about creating space in your day, whether it's a breath, a pause, or some moment that fills up your cup some way, somehow. Think of yourself like a garden. Hey, Educator Sanctuary listeners. Are you a homeschooling mom or thinking about it, but feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or maybe unsure how to confidently guide your child's learning journey? Maybe you're craving time for self-care, rest, or just a break, but you feel like you're doing it all on your own without anyone to turn to for help. Let me introduce you to Purpose Prep Academy, an online and in-person STEAM microschool for learners in grades K-8. Purpose Prep Academy isn't just any school. It's a space where young minds are nurtured, empowered, and taught to lead with confidence, curiosity, and purpose. Purpose Prep Academy focuses on providing students with the academic tools they need while fostering personal growth to help them thrive both inside and outside the classroom. At Purpose Prep Academy, they offer personalized learning, foster critical thinking, and provide real-world applications to help students become 21st century leaders and change makers. If you're looking for a program that can help you reclaim your time, give you peace of mind, or simply give your child a space to thrive, Purpose Prep Academy could be exactly what you've been looking for. Want to learn more? Visit purposeprepacademy.org to schedule a virtual meeting or an experience day and find out if Purpose Prep Academy is the right fit for your family. You can't bloom if you are never watered, right? So those small moments, whether it's your morning coffee, whether it's your quiet journaling time, whether it's a stretch if you need to, whether it's just laying there quietly and doing nothing and gathering your thoughts and talking to yourself before the day begins, those things are your water. So I would love for you to take a second right now and think about what is something that you have been craving, something that's just for you. For example, with me, I always crave to do a workout, whether it's get outside and walk 2 to 3 miles a day, whether it's taking some stretching time at home, whether it's grabbing my weights and doing a full-on workout. I want to give back to myself in a very physical way. The other thing that I really like to do is I like to listen to my personal development books. Even this week, when I was doing my daughter's hair, I asked her if she could turn off her tablet so that I could listen to my personal development book while I was doing her hair. It was already kind of later in the evening when she probably should have been in the bed anyway, and it was already the time that I would have been taking for myself, but I also needed to do her hair. So I said, hey, do you mind turning that off so that I can listen to an audiobook? And that was pretty much me pouring into myself while I was doing something for her. So I would like for you to take a second and think about that thing that you have been wanting to do for you. Maybe it's silence for you. Maybe it's movement. Maybe it's creativity. Maybe you have been waiting to get into some art or plant a garden. What is it that you want? Whatever it is, know that it matters. Here's a stat that I want you to pretty much take in to really understand why I'm so passionate about you taking that time for yourself. 80% of moms have reported feeling super overwhelmed, especially during back to school season. And that's not just a number, that is actually a signal. It is a signal that we need to do things differently. As moms, we are always carrying the weight of everyone's schedules, their emotions, their expectations, and society never gives us permission to slow down or prioritize ourselves. In fact, when we do, we're often criticized for doing that. But here's the truth. I've said it before and I'll keep saying it. You will never be able to pour from an empty cup. A lot of times, moms are frustrated, and I would like to say, at least me, guilty as charged. Sometimes when I have maybe been frustrated with my children, it wasn't even because they were doing something necessarily wrong. It was because I was already overwhelmed with life, and I used that overwhelm as an excuse to take out my frustration on them, even when it was probably the smallest thing. And that is why I say you cannot pour from an empty cup, because when you are empty, then you take that frustration and you aim it at whoever is probably in your sight or whoever is in your path at that moment in conversation with you. And it is really important that we take care of our mental, emotional, and our physical well-beings so that we can come to people and talk to them and interact with them and love on them in the best way possible. And if you don't stop and take care of yourself, then the question becomes, who else will? It has to be you. So this is your season where you can use this opportunity for growth, not just for kids, but for you. Because when you pour into yourself, even in the smallest ways, you will be modeling for your children what self-care and balance actually looks like. You will be teaching them that their needs matter too. You will be teaching them that it's possible to love other people, but also love themselves. So here is your homework for the week, and that is pick one small thing just for you every day. And I want you to try to get 5 to 7 days in, even if it's for 3 minutes or 5 minutes. Take that time. Journal, stretch, pray, listen to your favorite song. Doesn't matter. Look out the window, enjoy the view of the sky. Doesn't matter. Just write it down in your planner, schedule it on your phone. Tell Alexa that she can. I had to whisper that because I didn't want mine to go off while I was doing the podcast, but you can tell your AI person to remind you and protect that time like it's non-negotiable. And then I want you to notice how doing at least one small thing, even if it's for 5 minutes every day, how it changes your energy. Notice how you feel when you start your day on purpose and pouring into you on purpose, instead of just reacting to everything happening around you and then being upset or unfulfilled at the end of each day. Now, if this has some way, somehow, in shape, fashion, or form spoken to you, I would love for you to share this with another mom or another educator who might need this reminder right now. In fact, you can share this with them and you all can become accountability partners. If you are finding value here, I would love for you to leave a review or follow along on YouTube so you do not miss any new episodes. And as always, I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. And remember that thriving is not about doing everything perfectly. This is about choosing yourself even when life feels chaotic. Knowing that you are worthy of rest, you are worthy of joy, you definitely are worthy of thriving, and not someday, not when you have the time, but today. All you have to do is start small, be kind to yourself, and keep showing up. You've got this. Talk soon. Thank you for joining me in the Educator Sanctuary, where we create a space for women educators to reclaim their power and prioritize themselves unapologetically. If you've loved what you've heard, please do not forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with other amazing women who need to hear this message. Until next time, remember, you are capable, you are powerful, and you are absolutely worthy. You've got this. Talk soon.